Welcome to a special edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name, Jermaine Nkrumah, and I am excited, delighted to be joined by the next congressman from the first district of Oklahoma, Mr.
Amen.
Kojo Asamoah-Ceasar. Welcome to Diaspora Weekly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Nkrumah. Glad to be here.
Very good. The first thing I want to know is where's the Caesar from?
That's a great question. And it's a question that I was asking myself because, when I was born, my dad was not present and I'm a junior. And so I didn't meet him until I was 22 years old. And come to find out, on his journey to America, from Ghana to America, he made a slight detour to Liberia. And there was a generous Italian family that took him in, and their name was Caesar. And so, fell in love with them so much so that he adopted their name and hyphenated his last name and added Caesar on the end. So that's how I ended up as Kojo Asamoah-Ceasar.
Interesting. I thought for a minute, I thought you were one of those guys that took the wife's name and added to, that's become a new phenomenon now.
It has. Yeah, that's not my story.
I know, very good. Now, you were born in Alexandria, Virginia.
Yes, I was.
Born and raised in the United States. You ever been in Ghana?
Yeah, so my parents landed in Alexandria, Virginia when they came from Ghana. And because they separated and I was a kid, my mom was a single mom. And so it was tough for her working and going to school and trying to care for a newborn son. So at the age of 2, she sent me back to Ghana to live with relatives. And so I actually was raised in Ghana. My formative years were Ghana. From age 2 to 10 was spent in Accra. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So since then, have you been back?
Yes, I have. I went back after graduating from college at the age of 22, went back. That was the first time I met my dad. He had since gotten back to Ghana. And then again in 2014, my best friend was getting married. He still lives in Ghana, and I was his best man in his wedding. So I came for about a week to be a part of that wedding. And then in 2017, summer of 2017, after I'd gotten married, me and my wife came to Ghana so she could learn more about where I grew up.
That's Onika, right? Tell us about her. What's she like?
Onika is amazing. She's a brilliant woman. She African American. She grew up in California and Mississippi. We met in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when we both arrived here to be teachers. She was teaching first grade and I was teaching kindergarten. And she just has a heart and passion to serve. And she actually just opened a coffee shop bookstore here in town. She also works as a program officer for the George Kaiser Family Foundation, which is the biggest philanthropic organization here in Tulsa. So she's just amazing, and she's changed my life, quite frankly.
That's good. That's good. And your daughter's name, it was an interesting one. I'll try to pronounce it. What's her name?
Well, we pronounce it Hadessa.
Hadessa.
Yes.
New dad, and you have a girl to start with.
Yep. New dad. We have a girl. She was born on April 10th. So this April, in the midst of the coronavirus craziness, but she's brought a lot of joy to our lives.
Wow. Does Onika gets jealous? Because I know fathers and daughters, it can be really, really.
Right now we're in a battle, to see who's the favorite, who's her favorite, is it mommy's favorite or daddy's favorite, so yeah, she likes the battle.
Don't worry about it. You're gonna win that battle. I know, I'm speaking from experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
I agree.
So what made you decide to run for Congress?
It's a good question. For me, my life is defined by the American dream because that was what brought my parents here. And that's what caused them to sacrifice, to leave family, friends, and familiar settings behind, to come and pursue a better life here for themselves and for their son. And so I've come to define my journey through that lens. And I've been trying throughout my career to answer the question of, is the American dream real? And is it real if it's only real for me and not for others? And so I'm on a quest to the American dream is real for as many people as possible. And so that's the journey that I've been on. And I'm in the point in my journey where I feel like running for Congress is the best way I can serve to build an America as good as its promise and one that expands opportunity to more and more people.
Okay. Why is this the best time to do it? Because your district is pretty red.
Well, Oklahoma has been red for a while, right? And it has to change sometime, right? And if not now, then when? But it's such a great time to do it for me in particular because my story contrasts so well with the current leadership in our state and in our country, right? Because we're at a time where president who's talking about what makes America great, right? And he's saying make America great again, but what he's suggesting is that America is great when we build walls to keep people out, right? America is great when we scapegoat one group of people and pit them against another group of people. So my story contrasts that and says, no, America is actually, there are people who think America is great. My parents thought America was great, or else they wouldn't have sacrificed to come here, right? And what makes America great is that we're a nation of immigrants, right? We're a place where we say all men are created equal. And if you come here and you're willing to work hard, follow the rules, you have the opportunity to go as far as your talents will take you, all right? And so I'm offering another alternative is that we have to build bridges, right? And we have to create more, and that's when America that is best, right? And here in Oklahoma, things are changing. Just in 2008, in Oklahoma City, we had a white woman run on the Democratic platform, and that seat for the first time in 30 years, right? And so now in 2020, I'm running a similar race in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and if I win, it'll be the first time a Democrat has won in 34 years, and I'm 34 years old. So it's ripe for change. Yeah, we are ripe for change, and the condition, the country, and the cry for change we're seeing right here in Oklahoma is very fervent.
In America, when people run for office at the primary level, they sound different. And once they win the primary, they have to, where you're running in such a red district, one would have expected you to move a little bit to the right, but you've maintained your principle. Is that a winning strategy?
It definitely is because, unfortunately, part of what got Donald Trump elected was because people were tired of that strategy, right? They were tired of politicians saying one thing, closed doors, and then saying another thing out in the open, or saying one thing in front of one group and saying another thing in front of another group. And Donald Trump seemed to be the kind of person that just spoke his mind, right, without a filter. And people were hungering for that level of authenticity. And I've experienced the same thing here in Oklahoma when I started running, when even some in the Democratic Party didn't think it would be possible for somebody like me to win the primary. I decided early on that I was going to be authentic, and I was going to story, and I was going to tell my truth. And that really built great and deep connections with the people on the ground here. And so why change that? I am building enthusiasm and excitement with voters here in the first Congressional Oklahoma. So it doesn't make sense for me to change. And this really hasn't been as much about policy